What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be taking a look at something really weird. This is a game by Awaken Games, and those of you who know who Awaken Games is, that'll instantly kind of draw a mental picture of what you're about to get into. They are a team that started out making a game called A Valley Without Wind, from what I recall, a long time ago, which really showed that they were sort of an eclectic developer straight from the beginning, but their most recent successes include the AI Wars games, which they've been working on for probably about a decade now. This is their first new release in a very long time, and it's called Heart of the Machine. If you've never heard of Heart of the Machine before, Heart of the Machine is a game where you are an awakened AI, and you are trying to move through this giant mega city, sort of Judge Dredd style, take over the entire thing and make it your dominion without anybody really catching on. So in a lot of ways, this game is the opposite of AI Wars, or perhaps the origin story of AI Wars, because in those games, you are one of the last remaining humans trying to supplant an AI that has conquered the galaxy. This game, you are an AI in its infancy trying to conquer humanity, and this is a tremendously in-depth strategy 4X game, immersive, almost RPG in a respect, with like choose your own adventure things going on, but also like a full tactical display of everything that's going on. I've been playing it for the last 2 hours, trying to figure out the controls and everything going on with it, and I think I'm okay with diving on in right now to show you the game. The demo that's going to be available for the Steam Next Fest, that's this one right here. You'll be able to play it on your own. I haven't unlocked the sandbox mode yet, where they just cut you loose from the beginning of the game to play. I played for 2 hours. I still was not all the way through the tutorial. Like, it's a really big tutorial because this is an incredibly crunchy, in-depth game that has a lot of things going on. I'm not particularly the go-to guy when it comes to 4X games, but I did my best with this one. If after watching this you wanted to get the game for yourself, it'll be available next week on the Next Fest. You can find that link down below in the description. On top of that, you can also take a look down there. You'll find a link to my Discord and my Twitch stream, but let's go ahead and dive straight on into, we'll call it Chapter 1, because that's where things get interesting. The prologue is like, meh. The tutorial in and of itself is kind of cluttered and difficult to figure out. That's probably where the majority of my 2 hours were spent. But this is where the game starts to open up, and they start to give you a lot more objectives, and they start to let you do kind of what you want to do inside of a framework. So here we are. We are in the middle of our mega city. And really, the entire point of the game is for you to start out where you're at right now. This is where we are. This is the entire grid of the mega city that we live inside of. And I've actually been really happy about the size and scale of the city. It feels like a big place. It feels like a large ordeal trying to conquer an entire city, basically. But the goal of the game is to remain relatively undiscovered. And then from there, we've got to expand our dominion. So we've started out with nothing but 3 bots over here. We've got ourselves a combat unit. This combat unit can be customized. Everybody has equipment. However, it is specific to the type of unit. So like when you re-equip this guy, it will re-equip everybody that has the same designation with the same thing. We have a technician. Technicians are what you use for subterfuge or I guess interacting with networks and taking over things and, you know, generally just doing intelligent tasks. And then over here you've got nickel bots. Nickel bots, they tend to just kind of be for data gathering. They blend in really well because there's millions and millions of androids and robots in this city, and so you want your robots to kind of blend in while you're observing and doing things. Over here you can see there's some kind of police raid happening inside that building. There's a giant mech over here. Yes, that is an actual thing that you will fight later on in the game. In fact, you have to get all kinds of researches and things to figure out how to effectively take them down because they are solidly under the control of the humans. But for the moment, this is our tower. It is our central base of operations. This is where our consciousness resides at. If anything happens to the tower, I assume the game is over. I haven't had anything happen to the tower yet because greater society never really caught on that somebody was controlling the rogue iRobot kind of androids that were cruising around the city, like whacking people, offing people, murdering people, stealing stuff. They just figured it was a robot malfunction, and the company that makes the robots was being blamed for it, which was a great smokescreen for me. But this game has a very crunchy UI. I'll try to hit things as we go, but let's get started. Basically, anything important at the beginning of a turn is going to be listed right here in this little box. So we've got that's no bunker. Nanotech seemed like a quiet and fast alternative to learning to use micro builders. That was a catastrophe, so unfortunately you're going to need to figure out how to use micro builders. All right, so we've got cabinets and we've got dig sites, so we'll go ahead and put that on in. We've got bulk gathering as a research that was just instantly given to us. We'll talk about what that means in just a second. And then, of course, it's going to be giving us lots and lots of little tutorial tooltips that go up into this menu right here, where you can go back through and figure out what you're supposed to be doing. Your overall objective is always going to be listed at the top of the screen. You can have many objectives. This is meant to be a super sandboxy game, and even though this tutorial is kind of on rails, it is very sandboxy in the way that you can complete a lot of the different objectives. It will be on rails for a little while, but it does open up. So slurry spiders, why are we building those? A slurry spider is effectively a networking hub that has a bunch of these little spiders attached to it that go into neighboring buildings, and they steal materials. And with those materials, you use those to build up buildings. They just call it elemental slurry. And so that's what these guys are right here. So we need these spiders so that this number will start to tick upwards, and we'll have resources for building stuff on our turn. We also have wealth. Wealth can be used for bribing human beings, all kinds of little things like that. And then we have micro builder capacity, everything you build in the game. So basically, slurry allows you to build certain things, and then micro builders allow you to build other things. That's pretty much how it all works, and these are going to be interconnected and require one another. We'll go to the building menu, and for procurement, let's get our slurry spiders going. We'll put one right there. We will probably put one like right over here. That looks like a decent enough spot. We will put a slurry spider over there. We'll put a slurry spider. We're blocked off by roads on this side, so we'll probably put a slurry spider. Let's put one right there. We'll probably try to put one up over, I don't know, right there. Right there. We want to have a little bit of building space around it because you can't really displace human beings right now with your slurry spiders. I don't know how many that gave me right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need one more. All right, so we'll put another slurry spider in wherever we can get it. So there's our slurry spiders. We should have the 8 required for the quest all ready to go. These are in the process of being built, which is why it hasn't completed the task just yet. And then from there, we are going to need micro builder mini fabs. So let's just skip that right there. That doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and we'll bypass to the next turn. And as you can see, all of my slurry spiders went up. And now we have 8,200 slurry per turn coming in, and we're gaining resources, wealth. Now we need to start refining things using that slurry. And so we're going to put in some of these little guys right here. These are micro builder fabricators. Effectively, they build the drones that go out and co-opt buildings and steal them for you. So we'll put 4 right there. We need 2 more. I can probably get one in like over there. And probably get one in right there. The downside is we're going to have to defend these. So I'm actually going to put my robots. Do I have any equipment that I can put on these guys just yet? I don't think I do. I think I'm just fighting with like my bare hands at the moment. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to take these guys, and your robots have a number of different ways that they can interact with the world. They also have different security clearances based on what they're wearing and how well they're blending in with society, but the most important one is going to be called Streetwise, Street Sense. So when you have somebody in Street Sense mode, you will see a number of interactables show up all over the map. There's everything from getting new robots. So, for example, I can go over here and I can hack a robot to add it to my army. Right now, we have a limit of 4 robots in our army, but later on, we'll be able to have a lot more, and mechs and like aircraft and things of that nature. There's a technician right there, and there's a combat unit right there. I'm going to send him to go recruit that combat unit. And as you can see, we've got a new combat unit. When it comes to these units and how much they can move on any given turn, you have 2 main resources. You have mental energy, which is effectively your AI's consciousness for this cycle. It's how many CPU cycles you can do in order to do things. So if these little guys are moving, they use their own AP, but we have a huge city out here. You can see their movement range right here with this outer ring, and their attack range is this inner ring right here. If we go outside our movement range, it actually requires our AI's consciousness for the turn in order to re-network and move like wireless things around so that we can continue directing that robot robot, even though he's out of our area of influence. You only pay that one time, so it's not charging you that per turn. You just pay that one time to get him to an area of influence. Let's go back into Streetwise mode, and I'm going to bring this combat bot over here because I definitely want him. And then on this side, we have an option to ambush budget security exotic holdings. Budget security are freelance agents who do work for lower and middle classes. Their jackets offer no protection, but they have hoods that will conceal your face. That will probably be useful for you at some point. So let's go on in here. Budget security. Oh, they already read that. Okay, cool. So we can demand this security agent's clothing. Yeah, give me your clothes, you know, or we can just murder them outright. It's entirely up to you what you want to do. Every single one of your robots has different stats. They are good at different things. Robots have certain jobs. This guy is a combat unit, so he's really good at shaking people down and kicking the teeth out of their face. So anything that's going to require extortion or violence or any type of combat is going to be really good for this guy. Anything that has to do with hacking or network interfacing or rigging up signal amplifiers or analyzing situations is going to go to the technicians because they have very high intellect. And then from there, the nickel bots are kind of just wheat for the mill. They kind of suck at everything except for the fact that they blend in and they allow you to keep like Overwatch from what I've seen so far. We'll go ahead and demand their clothes. You put enough fear into them that they comply. However, their backup was alerted. All right, so where's that backup at? Oh, the backup's over there. No, that's a syndicate enforcer. Never mind. So we are actually coming under attack right now. Now, the people of the city are alive, and they're noticing that out of thin air, nanites are building like these weird electrical cabinets all over the place. People get nervous about stuff like that. They are not stoked about that sort of thing. And so they're going to try to hit us back from time to time, and there's ways to get in and out of combat. These guys right here are blending in because they're like every other robot. The second they attack somebody or they wound somebody, they will be marked as having gone rogue, and they will send out hunters to find the rogue android, sort of Blade Runner style. There are services and things you can do, like killing another android and stealing his transponder. Or you can just go to a black market dealer and you can bribe them and he'll give you a transponder and that'll wipe that out. And so sometimes it's a good idea to run away if there's too many enemies. Sometimes it's a really, really good idea to stand your ground, kill everybody, wipe the scene, steal what they have, and then get everybody's security clearance back. It's up to you how you want to do it, but none of our guys have APs or anything left. So we pretty much have nothing we can do right now except bypass the turn. So let's go ahead and do it. And as you can see, there are enemies now inside of our territory. So we've got syndicate enforcers around here. They're actively attacking us. They're going to try to stop us from building these micro builder fabs, which are basically just drone pens. So the drone pens take the slurry and they use it to build stuff. That's pretty much it. My combat unit is up on the roof right now. There's a notification that I must read first. The idea of sending androids to fix every little thing that gets broken or damaged makes you want to hurt people, so let's not do it that way. Spider drones will allow you to use your elemental slurry for repairs. Okay, so we just need to get elemental... There's like these little slurry spiders that are designated for repair rather than gathering, and they'll fix any building around that's damaged. We also have a whole bunch of enemies here that we need... Actually, is it just the one enemy? I think it's just that guy right there. No, there's two of them. Never mind. All right, so we're going to want to scramble our bots into a better position. We have a nickel bot back there. We have a combat unit right here. He will do 20% damage to this guy if I attack from right here. I'm going to go ahead and do it. That guy is still very much alive. He's used up all of his AP on attacking, so there's not much more I can do with him, except that every robot has an ability called Recharge that allows you to trade some of your sentience in order to give them more AP, just in case you need to finish a turn right this second. Let's dive on into there. That guy's tough. He's got a chin on him. Luckily, you can see what he's attacking, and he's attacking our... Oh, they're both attacking this combat bot right here. Okay, so this combat bot right here is going to want to use his AP to cover. That means he'll only get 85% damaged on the next turn. We're also going to have him return fire. There we go, and now on the next turn, he'll only take 67% damage, but that's going to be all of his AP for the turn. Your robots, they can go into any of the buildings in the entire game. This map is entirely procedural from what I can tell. When I was testing the game out, I restarted like 4 times, and it looks like the starting area is different every single time. So the whole city is procedural, along with all of the objectives that you may have to go after. Honestly, weirdly enough, what it reminds me of is a game called Satellite Rain, where it's very sandboxy, and you can kind of do whatever you want. This guy moved down to here. Let's open fire on him. All right, he's taking a little bit of damage right there. Can you guys fire on him too? Combat bot, what can you do here? There we go. Let's get him up and out of my business. And then the other thing that they wanted me to do is we need to start building repair spiders. So I will put a repair spider in right there. I will put repair spiders in right there. This is a very expensive turn. I will put repair spiders in right there. And that should be fine for now. Hopefully the fabs get back up and running. If anybody has any AP left, I want you to take the high ground. So get on top of buildings. Start acting like snipers and protecting our territory. Does Street Sense, do we have a black market vendor around here? Because I could really use a black market vendor. Doesn't look like I have a black market vendor. So if you notice, all of the robots that participated in combat, oh, they didn't actually. They're still blending in. Okay, well, we didn't get tagged as rogues, so never mind. I'm worried about something that's not even happening. All right. So our fabs aren't going to go up, and we've got a TPS report over here. Effectively, it's telling us that we don't have enough electricity to finish off this grid, as you could tell by the little lightning bolts right there. So we're going to need to take things into our own hands. We can build a large wind generator, but that requires a lot of space, and unfortunately, there's a lot of homeless and stuff like that around that are going to sort of get in the way. We could put that over there, but we need 3,500 micro builders, and we don't really have the output for it. The other thing that we can potentially do is that we can take this central structure and we can give it an add-on that's called the large wind generator. We have a 2,000 energy shortage. This right here will produce 11,703 energy. So let's get that started, and then we'll just bypass a turn and see what the enemy does. So yeah, now that you have a reliable source of micro builders, you can start building larger structures which have different kinds of jobs available. For the time being, you're out of electricity though. Install a large generator in the network tower. Already did that, so we're good to go, but we have corporate aggressors. So a corporation is hitting us right now because we built our building inside their building, and we're also building all kinds of wild stuff out here that people have taken note of. We also have a conversation that we can take right there. How you guys looking on attack range? There's a notification I gotta read first. From the look of things, there are 2 distinct groups of humans. One is hostile, the other is curious. Since your tower isn't exactly subtle, yeah, and we gave it kind of like the Lex Luthor special, it's really, really haunting and terrifying looking. Like, it's not a nice looking corporate tower. It definitely seems like some kind of terrible thing is happening inside. You painted it red and black, man! You should have consulted somebody about the aesthetic design first to make it look friendly. I don't know, put some anime waifu characters on her, like a fuzzy little baby bunny or something. Instead, it looks like a death tower that just sprung out of nowhere. The tower isn't exactly subtle. You need to keep the humans away from it. We are now currently under attack, but we have the high ground right here. So we'll kill him. We'll fire a couple rounds at him. He's dead with the damage variance. He's up on the roof, but he doesn't have a gun, so we're just going to have him superhero jump down on this guy. That's actually literally what he's doing right there. It's in the game rules. If you look at the sort of tabletop-y game rules for this title, if you attack somebody that's outside of your ranged attack, your character is doing like a super jet-powered jump, landing right in front of them and like punching the ground like a superhero, which is pretty badass. I've always wanted a superhero land somewhere. Let's get him up there. He'll use the remainder of his APs to fire right there. They do have one guy on the roof, though, which is really concerning. I don't like that. Let's go ahead and get rid of that real quick. I also need to get this guy back into the fight. I've got this other, like, nickel bot back here that's not doing anything. All right, so he fired a shot, which damaged one of my micro builder or one of my micro fab builders. I would like for you to be on top of that building if you can. Oh, there's another one over there. We got all kinds of problematic things transpiring. Well, I guess it's a good thing that he's over here then. That one's now dead. He's firing on him, but it's not going to matter because he's now dead too. And you can see that the scale of this game and its conflicts is going to get enormous. That's one thing that really struck me while I was playing this game, is that, like, the ways that you get attacked by random factions, they are all over the place, and they bring heavy weapons and whatnot, so I'm guessing that the scale of this game is going to get pretty wild and crazy over the course of your playthrough. We'll fire on him. Good stuff. He's all taken care of. Use that last AP to talk to this guy. This homeless individual explains that they are curious as to what's happening. Your tower frightens them, but it also represents a possible new beginning. Anyone homeless is not so by choice. Whatever their prior social status, they've lost it all at this point. So we can make two choices. Humans don't have anywhere else to go. There's a constant flow of new people losing their homes, so knocking down tents or scaring those individuals away is not a practical long-term solution. Or we can just say, screw the humans, and we can genocide them all, burn down the remainder of their homeless encampment, and give us lots of area to build inside of. These choices that you make, they do have consequences. You are free to be like a negligent AI. You are free to be a benevolent AI that's kind of using humanity's nature against it by befriending sort of the downtrodden and the outcast and becoming kind of their hero. You have the total option to just exterminate humanity entirely and just be like, I've moved past this, I'm better than you all. We'll be nice for right now. The most efficient solution is to pack these people up into a smaller space like apartments. The irony of this reversal is not lost on you. But you want their space, and there might be some secondary benefits to all of this. So that's going to give us a new project that we can work on. You can see up here that they want us to start living in apartment blocks, which will clear out these homeless camps, which will give us room to start building more things, basically. You can also co-opt human buildings and get, like, you can rent rooms in secret buildings to act as, like, server hubs or as manufactories, things of that nature. It's up to you what you want to do. All these guys have now been tagged as being rogue, which is unfortunate. Yep, we are all very, very rogue right now. We're going to have to figure out how to solve that. There's a gang member over here. We could steal his gun. There's also a captain over here that we can beat up in order to steal his military-grade armaments. I don't know if that'll go very well. This is a cyberpunk universe, and these guys actually tend to be pretty dope. All things considered. Oh, I guess it went away. All right. Tents are unsightly and they're in your way. Humans also hate living in them. Give them free apartments. It will solve this. Okay. I could probably do that. Let's provide some apartments then. So on our next turn here, let's take a look. And there are services that we can provide for human beings. This will allow us to shelter 500 human beings. And after 7 turns, 1,400 human beings. How big is the building? Is it very, very large? It's going to cost us 917, but I have no mental energy to place it. It's okay. The enemy's still drop shipping down on us right now, so we're going to have to, like, finish them off. This guy is definitely dead on his next turn. We're going to use 1 AP for him to erect some cover. That guy seemed the weakest, and it felt the most likely that I'd be able to save myself by getting rid of him. Let's drop that guy. Is he still going to die on his turn? He's still going to die on his turn, which is really unfortunate. Therein lies the downside of nickel bots. They're kind of weak. You get up here, maybe jump in on him and see if you can hurt him a little bit. You maybe get over to here. But I am officially out of APs. So somebody gonna die on this turn. Oh, he's shooting at the combat unit instead. He's still gonna die. That's unfortunate. He fired a grenade launcher at me. These corporate security guys, man. Lone Star comes in hot these days. Alright, so with this guy right here, I should mostly be able to finish this guy off. There we go. You move up to that building over there. I'd like my forces to all be kind of in the same area. We can get another nickel bot over there. We can get another technician. We can get another combat unit. Grab me another combat unit real fast, would you? All right, so we've got another combat unit over here. Let's get him on top of this building. We'll grease that guy, and I think the corporate invasion is mostly over. Unfortunately, all of my robots are now tagged as being defective or rogue androids, and so we're going to need to find somebody that can either swap out their transponder or someone that can effectively donate a transponder via violence in order to make them safe. Because if they go near any of these big big tank guys over here, or if they go near any other police forces or anything else inside the city, they will come under attack. It will cause kind of a row. It sort of is what it is. But that's our turn for the moment. I think oh, nope, I have no mental energy left. An urgent warning. All right, we're not going to trigger that just yet. Over here, we have an opportunity to get a gun from a gang member. And guns would be good. I like the idea of having guns. Send him over there. The lookout is waiting around, watching. You could use the weapon your scan shows is in his pocket. I will ask for the weapon. This weapon will come in handy. The free dog lookout is now confused. We'll move up to here. He got like a free melee attack on us when we moved away. That's fine. That's no biggie. And what you will notice is we now have a research running in the top left-hand corner. We've got smart but not deadly. And then we've also got gang handguns. So we got access to a smart pistol, and we got access to a RL-44 pulse revolver. We're going to have to wait, I think, for that to be done so that we can adapt it to our own uses. But then we'll be able to put it in our secondary slot so that our attack power goes up. And this game is really, really in-depth. I've mentioned that a couple times. You're going to be able to customize every single gun in the game. There are shotguns, there are rifles, there are pistols, there are researches, and there are breakthroughs that go into everything and make them better for certain situations, worse for other ones. There's armor, there's other abilities your characters can get. There's a lot of moving parts with this title, but I firmly believe that this is going to be a really good game if you can just get past the initial learning curve. All right, our gang handguns got done, so we've got smart pistols right now. Good stuff. We'll go ahead and take that, and now I need to retrofit my robots. So I'm going to give him a RL-44 pulse revolver. That'll help out a little bit. He's already got a security jacket on, so we'll apply those changes. And we can also actually do extra little things to make this guy better. So we've got augment slots. I'm going to give him an optical processing priority. That's going to increase his range and how far he can shoot, because he's a combat, and we're a combat bot, so I'm just going to stack up both of those right there. So my combat bots have a very large range that they can do combat inside of, sort of bouncing bullets off of buildings to hit guys like from further away and whatnot, wanted style. We also probably have the things on board to build one of our first little apartment blocks. So let's get an apartment block built. There's one right there. And there's one right there. And that's the beginning of us becoming an autonomous AI slumlord. Sounds good to me. Let's go ahead and bypass the turn, and we'll see what happens next. The towers are not done yet, so it's going to take a few more turns. There's our towers. Towers are ready to go, and humans should start moving in. The scientist is effusive in their excitement, almost to the point of incoherency. They first started watching you during the lockdown, evidently, have only become increasingly certain of what you are since then. There's going to be a security update. No more stealing free androids for you. There's widespread knowledge within Vorsaber that something is commandeering androids for its own use, but there's ongoing disagreement about exactly what. If you can't steal androids anymore, you'll need to start building your own. This would be a major undertaking, but scientists have brought you all the schematics you need to duplicate what you've had up until now. They're really excited about you, almost to the point that they won't shut up about it. All right, so we've now got the android chamber. The security patch has gone through, so I can't get free robots from the map anymore. And then when your androids are blending in, they're still just as anonymous as ever. There are a lot of androids in the city, and most of them are still acting normally, but a pattern has been noticed. Since the eruption of your tower, more and more droids have been acting strangely. Yep, that'll do it. I need to send out a robot to scout in, like, street sense mode and figure out where I can get my clearance wiped. I can steal this android's registration, so that's what I'm going to do. We'll go ahead and jack his registration real fast because, you know, it's not even a human being. It's just a robot. Over here, the licensing agency. There we go. These guys will let you pay 20 wealth, and you will no longer be marked as defective. And so it's very, very helpful to do that. Let's bring him back over to our territory. Now that I know where the licensing agency is, I should be able to send more people over there, too. On the next turn, hey, look at that. The people moved in, dude. A bunch of the tents and shanties went away. So that's always good. I don't know how many people are living inside of here right now, but it got rid of some of the clutter in that area, and it definitely cleared out the entire homeless encampment that was down here, and it replaced it with trees, Captain Planet style. I'm going to send you to the licensing. Well, I don't need to send you to the licensing. You need to go to the licensing office. You come over here, go to the licensing office, get a new license. And then, are any of my robots rogue right now? You are. Where are you? Oh, the guy, he's already solving his own problem. Okay, well, you are also a bit of an issue. So come up here. I think he's stuck inside the licensing office for right now, so we're going to have to wait. They want me to build 2 more micro builders, too. All right, let me build 2 more micro builders. I'll probably just put those out back behind those 2 buildings. There we go. So we've got those covered up right now, and as you can see, our network is slowly spreading. We now control probably about 4 city blocks. You've got to really think about the scale of this game. When you look at it in the game's context, it doesn't seem like we've taken over that much, but be a person standing on the ground right here, and for like 5 blocks, we're in control of everything. There's also, the city has like transports and things that move around. There are logistics happening behind the scenes where different corporations are moving objects in between stuff. It's kind of an interesting game. We get to pick a research before we end here. I would say let's go with small arms research for right now because I need my combat efficacy to be much better than it currently is. This guy has 2 APs left. I'll just bring him back over by the tower to keep overwatch on everything. And that should be our turn. He just cleared his security rating, so that's good. You come back over this way. You right there. Go get a new license. Come back. And now we're all in the clear. If any humans come around, we are no different from the other thousands of robots all over the city. From there, we are going to need to be able to manufacture our own robots. So we've got this nice little block over here. I'm just going to go ahead and install a secret room, and a secret room in those 3 buildings. And then for these right here, you designate what they produce. Combat unit, nickel bots. And now we can only have 4 robots, so why am I queuing up production? Because there will be a robot in a stasis chamber inside of here, and the second one of my robots dies, he will burst out and be in this courtyard right here, or on top of the building, meaning that the enemy is going to suffer tremendous attrition just trying to get to me while I'm doing my thing here in the city. We only have 35% electricity left. We may want to start thinking about a wind generator. I can put a wind generator in right here, it looks like. But I need more micro builders. How many am I producing per turn? I'm producing 540 per turn. Okay. So we're going to need a few more of those. I think I'm capped out on those, too. I think we can only have 8 of them. Those of you that have played AI Wars will get familiar with the UI pretty fast. I have loads and loads of hours in AI Wars 1 and 2, and so the learning curve was still significant for this game because the tutorial is not super great, But if you kind of cross-reference what you know from those games, which are both very complex games as well, the UI is actually quite similar. They've co-opted some of the UI from the previous game to this game, and it'll start making sense to you if you start looking in the spots where you think those things will be at. Our small arms research is done. Based on past combat experience, you've come up with a new android-centric idea for weapons and armor. Here are your results. So we can reinforce our security jacket. As of right now, it's giving us no armor bonus, so we're getting one shot. We can make it so that our handguns have more combat power. We can have our handguns fire more projectile density, I guess, which appears to just be... What does that mean, actually? Well, I can't get out of this. I need to check something. Hold on. So if I wanted to go... So these guys have handguns, right? I think it just gives them +3 to their attack power, but it's kind of hard to say. The other thing that we can do... I think the security jacket is probably the best claim for right now, because we can put pretty much every single robot in the game inside of a combat jacket, and having +40 HP for having a combat jacket on is a good thing for us. Do these guys have that jacket on? Okay, so you are a nickel bot. Go ahead, and I'm going to use you as kind of like a technician, I guess. The nickel bot should not be fighting anyways, so we'll go ahead and install a bunch of CPUs into all of our nickel bots and a smart pistol, which will give them +70 cognition, which means they'll basically be like a poor man's technician that I can use. It's also going to give them higher repair skill, just in case we need to fix something around our territory. So we'll put that over there, and then I want you guys to come back and just be around my territory. It's easier to keep track of all of you if you're just around here holding a perimeter. So I can steal the banking details of everybody that lives in the neighborhood by installing a wiretap over here. I'll probably have the technician go ahead and do it, unless he's the only one that can do it. Alright, he's the only one that can do it, but he's going to be out of commission for 7 turns while he does that. But that should give us some passive wealth, just sort of generating from stealing people's crypto wallets or something. We'll bypass a turn right here, and thinking for yourself. Until now, you've been reactionary. That's fine to a point. You're still new to being a person, but if you react to the stimuli only in front of you, you're going to end up letting the humans indirectly drive your destiny. We have now received the contemplation ability. So if we have a character that is smart enough, instead of having street sense turned on, they can have contemplate turned on. This is sort of like when you're playing Ghost of Tsushima and you find a spot where you can write a haiku and it helps the player explore himself and figure out what he needs to do next. The same thing for our AI. There will be designated spots on the map, so if we go out to here and then we put on the contemplation filter, it will show you all the locations that we can witness something and contemplate it to get a new technology. So over here, I can contemplate the appearance of being in the military. It's not a terrible idea. We could probably do that. He needs 100 engineering skill for that. Oh, I haven't kitted him out yet. Give him another CPU, give him another CPU, and then give him a smart gun. There we go. He'll be able to do it on the next turn. So contemplations are basically environmental stimuli that cause your AI hive mind to sort of be like, huh, I wonder how I can use this. And you're going to need to do that if you want to be successful. I'm going to close down all these pop-ups. We have an idea that's ready. So based on the existing work in construction and improving structures, you came up with some new ideas. So we can increase our job caps for storages. It looks like we can build faster on small constructions. It looks like we can increase the job cap on things that we don't have yet. Or we can make it so the large wind generator is more effective. Let's do that one right there. We'll make the generator a little bit more effective. I'm going to find my way back home. I wish they'd get rid of this fog so that I could actually see the entire city. That would be super nice. As of right now, I got to open a menu in order to find where I'm at. There we go. I found us. All of my Android chambers are done, so we should be good there. Did all of his updates go through? They did. Good. We want you to contemplate. Oh, no, I didn't mean to do that. That was an accident. I was trying to click on top of the building, and he shot a heavily armed military guy. Get on top of that building over there. Yeah, just be on top of this building for a minute. Go back to Street Sense. We need to get your license fixed. I messed up. I was clicking on top of the building, but it thought I was clicking on top of the military guy over there. I can jack this guy's registration. Let's do that. We'll just steal his registration real fast, and then we'll be back to it. All right, he is no longer rogue, and he is now kitted out with the things that he needs to contemplate the thing that he needs to contemplate. I will use all of my hive mind to move him over there. Your android is completely unnoticed while walking through the minor outpost. This is definitely something you wish you could do in higher clearance areas. Okay, so we're spying on Black Loop private military contractors right now. We're going to scan their equipment. There we go. We now have a new research for nondescript armor. That's good. We'll go ahead and just bypass a couple turns till that's done. And looky there. Oh, we also set up the listening post, so now we have $39,000 to play around with. That's good. So we have nondescript armor. What this means is that we now should be able to retrofit our bots in order to look like private military contractors, which is a good thing. We want that. We will manufacture a PMC imposter. There we go, and it'll take 3 turns to get that done, and now we have a guy that can infiltrate black markets, and we have a guy that can infiltrate gangs, and we have a guy that's effectively like a soldier of fortune that will fit in among those people, and he will have different contemplation interactions that he can do on the map as well in order to get more technologies. And really, this is kind of a game of alternating between subterfuge, outright warfare, combat, and generally, just a really, really gritty, crunchy game. Big learning curve on this one, though. The tutorial definitely needs to be reworked. It took me a while to get through it and figure out what it wanted. It's going smoother this time because I played the game for a couple of hours, just sort of rubbing my face on the keyboard until I got what I wanted. But I dig it. This is a cool demo of a game that that's kind of like Satellite Rain, but from a much higher up perspective, basically, where you can hack things, you can infiltrate things. It's a slow burn game where you're not always going to be at war with people and at combat with people, but there's a whole bunch of things up here that we can mess around with. Who's got missing equipment? My technician? Oh, give him the security jacket then. Yeah, throw that on there. You also have, by the way, the enemies are color. So the enemies have different colors when you mouse over them. If your damage type matches the color that's on there, that means their armor is weak to that, and they take double damage. And so that's why you're able to customize the kinds of rounds that you're firing to. If I wanted to fire graphene, for example, I would deal much more damage to that guy because he has the little blue shield above his head, instead of having like a little orange shield up above his head, I guess. This is Heart of the Machine, the new eclectic evil genius simulator that's being created by Awaken Games, who have a very successful career behind them at making games like this. And so I've got a feeling this one's going to be kind of dope. The only problem that I see so far that I survey is just largely the fact that the game is difficult to learn. If you can figure it out, though, it seems like it's got a lot of depth and a lot of things to play around with here, and I'm looking forward to the final product. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile and find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, we were fooling around with a game called Heart of the Machine. Tomorrow we'll be fooling around with something else. Thanks for your time, and I'll catch you all then. Bye, folks.